Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategos. Today I have a huge announcement. Strategos will release on the 20th of January into early access. I know early access can have some negative connotations, but the amount of content that's been added since the demo is absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm not exaggerating. Let me take you through what the game will have to offer when it comes out in a couple of days' time. For those of you who don't know Strategos, it is an ancient and classical era real-time tactics war game, somewhat akin to battles in Total War, but less micro-intensive and more focused on making deliberate commands that are given to your troops, and they'll try and fulfill them out to the best of their ability. It's about choosing the right thing to do at the right time, as opposed to just like microing your way around the field. So, some of you may notice this screen. It is similar to the demo. This is the battle simulator. In the battle simulator in the demo, there was only about 6 factions. Now there is absolutely loads. On the Steam page, it says there's over 120. I'm not sure if that's exactly correct at the moment, but regardless, there is so much stuff. Everything you can see here is a separate army. So, Abyssinian. We've got Axumite Warband and African Bowman. We can go to Armenian, have some Cataphracts or some Anatolian Levy. We've got the Carthaginians with their Carthaginian Spearmen. And you can also change the allies, so you can mess around with the compositions a little bit. So, for example, we've got some Iberian allies, so it's added some Scutarii. And then we have Etruscans with their Spearmen. Germanic groups with their Germanic warband. There's Illyrian forces with their spears. We've got some Greek forces here with their hoplites. There's like the Macedonians, Numidians, Romans of all periods. So we've got like Middle Imperial with their updated armies after the Marian reforms. And then we've got like Polybian here, which is like before. So really, really interesting. We've got like the Seleucids in there as well with all of their different types of units. So we've got like Romanized units and the Cataphracts in there. Really, really cool. Yeah, just awesome amount of factions in this game now. And yeah, definitely worth checking them out if you pick up the game. There's just so much stuff in here, just in the battle simulator alone. And if the armies look small, don't worry, you can make them even bigger if you want to. You can choose specific eras if you want to sort of maintain more historical accuracy in your battle simulations. We now also have a bunch of different maps to choose from. I think there was like 3 or 4. There's now loads, including historical ones like Issos. So that's pretty cool. And you can obviously switch sides and so on. If you want to play on the Carthaginians instead of the Dacians in this case, you can obviously mess around with all of the other options here, make it more difficult and so on and so forth. But that's just the battle simulator. They have now added the campaigns as well. And there are a lot of campaigns. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 campaigns, each following different paths. So following Alexander or following the Wars of the Diadochi. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but there's early Rome, the Peloponnesians, Hannibal, First Punic War. Really cool. And each of these is like a series of battles. I'll go into those in a moment. There's of course the tutorial. There's reenactments. This is just historical battles that you can play out. So there's quite a few Roman ones. And then there is more over in the east here, like the Macedonians, the Ptolemaic, and another Roman one there, of course. So yeah, really cool. You can also play on both sides in these. So if you want to change history, instead of like playing the Romans here and beating the Carthaginians, you can play as the Carthaginians and beat the Romans if you click the player as B side, which is very cool. And then we have the settings, which are now much more fleshed out. And we have the miscellaneous tab, which comes with the manual. If you want to read up on that, it has all of the nitty gritty. We've got the feedback survey in there and of course the credits. So make sure to leave feedback if you are really into the game and you start enjoying it a lot. Make sure to do that. But today I thought what I would do is we'll jump into the first battle of the Alexander campaign. So this is the Battle of Chaeronea. So the campaigns of Alexander the Great in the Balkans, Persia and beyond, that is this campaign. You can see our units on the left hand side here, and we can switch these up ever so slightly. So instead of bringing companion cavalry, we can bring the Tyroi. Again, probably absolutely butchering these names. But instead of archers, I could bring slingers, for example. But you do have mandatory units that are required. Actually, I think these are given to you anyway, and then these are the ones you can mess around with. We can change the difficulty, of course. We'll just keep it on default, but let's read the description. So the independent city-states of Greece chafed under the de facto hegemony of Philip II of Macedon after the end of the Third Sacred War. Following the lead of the Athenian politicians, they attempted to break away from the Macedonian control. In 338 BC, Philip marched south in response and confronted a combined force of Greeks led by Athenians and Thebans in Boeotia, the Battle of Chaeronea. So we'll see how we get on. I'll try my best to do this first time. I am not going to guarantee I will win, but I will try my best. This game is I find it sometimes quite difficult. Like, it's very punishing if you make a mistake, because you can cause like massive chain routes. But let's just have a quick look at our force. We can move them around a little bit. So we have our cavalry here. So our companion cavalry on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we've got the Thessalian cavalry with the prodromi, which are light horse. We can zoom all the way in here to have a look at the units. The units in this game don't really focus on like high fidelity. It's more sort of an overarching tactical perspective that you go for in this game. Then we've got sort of our mercenary hoplites and our pikemen. So it looks like we've got mercenary hoplites on each flank, with all of our pikemen in the center, of course, with our skirmishing forces up in front. So some light archers and slingers. Interesting. All right, let's go ahead and start. We'll leave things where they are, and we'll make sure that we start skirmishing with the enemy. I would like to harass these with my light cavalry. The flanks are looking a little bit dodgy here because they have a wider line than us. So they've got some hoplites there. Some Theban hoplites, Athenian hoplites, just a full line of hoplites. And on the back side, they've got some extra hoplites, but these are weaker hoplites. It says raw hoplites. I assume that they are not so experienced. All right. So I wonder if I can make my line thinner here if I select all of these. Then again, I don't want to spread the formation too much. Also, since we're running pikemen, we're going to want to sort of stay in formation. We don't want to start moving around the place. We'll let them come to us here. Hopefully we can get some nice charges going into the infantry once we've engaged. I think what we'll try and do is sandwich this unit. Okay, they're coming into our lines. The pikemen have engaged. Brilliant. Okay, good chance to attack this unit on the flank here. We've got to wait for the general to send out some messengers to go and tell those to engage. We're going to hit this unit from both sides. with the companion cavalry. See, they're telling them to attack. If they're within the radius of the unit, then like if I toggle the... There is a way that I can show that off. Okay, it looks like they've already engaged there, so we'll just have one sort of head into the back of those. Absolutely smash them from both sides here. Companion cavalry gonna destroy that unit. We're gonna want to recoil away from those hoplites. And now that these have routed, we'll make sure to deal with the next unit. And we're going to want to set them onto recoil mode. The line here is getting a bit buckled. What I can do is tell these to fall back slightly so that we maintain the line. Our front line is holding pretty well. You'll notice here that some of my troops aren't always able to do what I tell them to. And that can be a problem. Okay, we're going to start moving that pike unit forwards. They are wavering, that is good. Just got to hope the general doesn't die on that left side. Well, actually, this is a companion cavalry. This is just the Thessalian cavalry, so they're not as strong at all. Make sure we continue to harass these units that are on the back there. Alright, broken their forces once again, which is great. I think what we can do is we can charge into the side of this hoplite formation. So let's go ahead and do that. And then these ones can charge to this formation, and we can just break them from one side. Beautiful. Formation's looking a bit crazy over here. Not going to be able to save those, unfortunately. We're coming right into the back of all of these troops now. Wheeled the companion cavalry round after that initial engagement. There it is, General died, and that's a huge rout, and just like that, we win the battle. So I think it is required that we reach a certain threshold. I think it's maybe 60% of the enemy army routing in order to win, but there we have it. We won against the Athenians as Macedonia. So now we can return to the campaign. And we can move on to the next battle, Vulcan campaign in Thrace. You'll notice that some of the units will change as we go through the campaign, and we can of course switch those up if we want. So instead of using peltas, we can use javelins. We got the Greek cavalry or hoplites there. Just depends whatever you kind of fancy messing around with. But yeah. As I mentioned, absolutely tons of content here. to play around with in Strategos, and this is early access, so they're going to add even more, and they're going to be sort of working on new sort of features for the game. I saw the developers talking about doing a like map-based campaign in the game. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to look, but yeah, definitely a game that's worth keeping an eye on and definitely picking up even in early access. If you love this sort of period, this time period, and you love sort of Total War-esque battles, then I think Strategos is the game for you. It's really, really fun to mess around with, and there is so much content, so many new factions that have been added since the demo. I was so impressed when I opened up this for the first time and saw how much they'd actually managed to get in for early access. Like, yeah, really, really cool. Really, really enjoy it. And you'll definitely be seeing more of Strategos on the channel moving forwards. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.